Hi students, so as you all know, it's going to be IIT Guwahati's turn to conduct the GATE 2026 examination because there are 8 bodies conducting the examinations, the 7 old IITs and IIST. So IIT Guwahati has previously conducted the GATE exam in 2010 and 2018, and hence 2026 has to be conducted by IIT Guwahati. Now, how were the papers of 2010 and 2018, and does the insights about 2010 2018 tells you something about 2026? Okay, can we correlate or can we not correlate? Okay, so let's look into the data, a complete data about GATE 2010-2018 papers regarding the toppers marks, cutoff marks, the subject wise weightage. Even I have broken the subject into topic wise breakage also. Okay, so what topics were more frequent in 2010 and 2018 papers? Okay, so let's get started with this session. Okay, so that you get a complete insight, and then let's at the end, let's see whether that correlation can be made. Okay, can these two papers tell something about 2026, and if yes, what does it say, so that you strategize, okay, for your GATE 26 preparation. Okay, have a look into the data. Okay, so let's look into the GATE 2026 data, guys. First of all, okay, let's talk about the cutoff and toppers marks, and then we will go to the subject wise weightage. Okay, so have a look into it. Okay, the cutoff, as expected, whenever the paper is of moderate level, okay, the cutoff is usually around 25, and that trend was there in 2010 as well. 25 was the cutoff for EC, 22.5 for OBC, and 16.67 for SC, ST, PH. And similarly for electrical also, similar trend lines, general 25.2, OBC 22.68, and SC, ST, PhD 16.8. Now, when it comes to topper marks, okay, it is 79. Okay, 2010 is the year where I also appeared and I got 75 marks. Okay, my marks in 2010, okay, was at 75 marks, all India rank 9. Okay, and so that's why I told you, for rank less than 10 it was 75 or 75 beyond range. Okay, that is how the data has been. If I talk about the paper, what the cutoff say, and even I have personally given this paper, I'll rate the paper as moderate one. Okay, not at all difficult, but not too easy also. It's like moderate. Okay, it's like moderate. Okay, when it comes to electrical engineering, cutoffs I already told you. Okay, AIR 1, because 2010 is a long back journey. So AIR 1 exact marks I am not able to retrieve, but yeah, okay, definitely it was 80 or little above 80. 80 plus means doesn't like 85 to 90. It was closer to 80 only. Okay, yeah, under 10, 76 plus is required. Why I know this is because one of my known persons, AIR 5, 78.67. 78.67 in double E. Okay, in the double E. Okay, so for that reason, I'm telling you the AIR 1 is 80 or little beyond that. Okay, because marks were closer only in the top zone. Okay, and 76 plus was the marks range for AIR 10. Okay, this paper of electrical in 2010 was, not purely moderate also. I'll call it something between easier to moderate level. Okay, few tricky questions and most of the paper was easy. This is how electrical 2010 paper was. Okay, now let's talk about 2018. 2018 data, the next paper conducted by IIT Guwahati. Okay, so now when it comes to electronics, now have a look into it. Okay, general 25, OBC 22.5, SC, ST, PhD 16.6. So more or less on the minimum side only cutoff marks, because the paper, see, although all India rank 1 is 80.67, but the paper was more or less a better paper. You will not call it as very tough paper also. I'll not call it as very tough paper also, but it was moderate to tough side, not purely moderate also. Okay, see, even at 69 or beyond marks, okay, a single digit rank up to 9th was obtained. I'll call it as moderate to tough paper. Okay, I'll call it as moderate to tough paper. But when it comes to double E, the cutoff itself and the topper marks, speaking that the paper was extremely easy. Okay, the paper for 2018 double E was easy. Okay, even, to get the rank below 10, 85 plus is what you had to score. Okay, so even at 85, even at 84, I would say student is not having the single digit rank. That means paper was easy. Many were able to score, good number of marks. Okay, so, the cutoff also is already clear, 29.1, high cutoff. Okay, for electrical. Okay, then for OBC 26.1, for SC, ST, PhD, it was 19.4. Okay, so this is how the trends were. Okay, so what do we talk about 26 now? Now let's talk about the subject wise breakage also. 2026, See, IITs are truly unpredictable, but if I have to make an estimation, don't expect the paper to be extreme easy also, although 2018 EE was easy, but if you look into the previous 2 to 3 years trend of EE, it's not that easy also. Okay, 2026, expecting it to be moderate type of paper, moderate to difficult only. Okay, that's what I expect. Expecting it mostly moderate. Okay, or to a little tougher side. Okay, or to a little tougher side. Okay, but it's not going moderate or tough doesn't mean that you cannot score. Of course, even in moderate to tough paper, people are able to touch 75 plus, 80 plus also. Okay, but it's not going to be paper where, you know, students will be easily able to cross 85 to 90. That's what I believe. Okay, that's what is my expectation. Okay, now let's see what about the subjects data. See, normally we talk about the subject wise weightage. That also I have prepared for you. At the end, I'll talk about the subject wise weightage. Okay, but before that, let's talk about the chapter wise marks distribution, electric circuits. Okay, or you can, you know, for EC you call it as networks. Okay, for EC you call it as the network subject. Okay, so this is how the marks distribution has been. I'll explain you. Okay, now this slide itself is indicative. I have brought the data for you so that you can look into it. If you want, you can take a snapshot. Okay, what does this plus mean? See, when I have mentioned plus 1 plus 1, like one question of 1 mark, one question of 2 marks. Okay, so if you have to calculate the total marks, so you can say here it is 3 marks, like that. Okay, so basic circuits and theorems in EE in 2010 was 3 marks. Okay, but yeah, every time there has been a question from fundamentals or theorems, and that is usually expected from the subject of circuits. Okay, there has not been questions from the fundamentals of inductors and capacitors. Okay, there have been questions from first order circuits mostly, sometimes from second order circuits also. Okay, and then you know, sinusoidal AC analysis also. EE 2010 there was no question, but other years, other branches, 2 marker question. 1 2 mark question itself is a good, you know, one topic can have mostly one question. Mostly, some topics are there, the topic itself you'll get 2 to 3 questions. Okay, then AC circuits power calculation, mostly EE only can expect the question out of it, and there was in 2018. Resonance, 1 question 2010 EC and 1 in EE in 2018. Coupled circuit, no questions in both the years. 2-port network, almost every time question is there, and 3-phase circuits, of course, only mostly expected for electrical. Now you see, okay, which topics normally, now these are usual trends that, you know, theorems are important. Okay, the basic first and second order circuits are important. AC sinusoidal analysis is important, and 2-port networks. I mean, others also will produce question, but these are most expected topics to, you know, for questions. Now coming to signal and system. Okay, coming to signal and system. So now see, introduction to signal system. Like when I say introduction to signal system, fundamental analysis of signals, properties of signals, like, you know, periodic signals, energy signals, power signals, or shifting scaling based question. Okay, so, you know, usually from, if you talk about recent years also, sometimes the questions will come from the fundamentals. Okay, from the impulse and ramp functions, etc. Okay, there were 2 questions. Oh, I think this is some type of error. Yeah, there were 2 questions in EE in 2018 for 2 marks. So that is interesting here. Okay, this itself makes it 4 marks from the fundamentals of signals. Okay, from the fundamentals of signals. System analysis, you know, we talk about the classification of system, linearity, time invariance, causality, etc. Okay, so 1 question in 2010 for EE, 1 in 2018 for EC. Okay, convolution also is important for you. Now see, you know, Fourier series and Fourier transform, EC or EE, whatever your branches, this is really important. Okay, although sometimes question may not come, you can see this, but this is truly important. Now Laplace transform in 2010 they focused. Okay, 4 marks in EC also, 4 marks. Okay, in EE also. Okay, Laplace transform. But then in 2018, okay, there is no Laplace transform question. Okay, sampling theorem, only 2018 EC got questions, but that was 4 mark, but there isn't question other times. Okay, Z transform normally is important. Now, if you talk about recent trends, EC, EE, okay, sampling theorem is important, whatever your branch is. Okay, and you know, DFS and DTFS, although there was 2010, you know, of course, during that time there were less questions from the discrete Fourier transforms or DTFS. 2018 EC got a question, and recent trend says that for EC it is important. EE also important, but EC it is actually very important. For EC, I'll put it as very important. Okay, so these are the major targets, major areas that you have to focus more and more. Okay, I'm not only suggesting from this data, but I'm also adding on to my knowledge looking into the previous year trends. Okay, control systems, basic mathematical modeling. Of course, there was one question in EC. When I say basics and mathematical modeling, sorry, it is basics and mathematical modeling. And when I say basics, so in basics, I have included, the BDR and SFG also, block diagram reduction and SFG also. Okay, so usually, the questions from BDR and SFG are not that frequent. Sometimes it may come, but not that frequent. In 2010 EC, there was a 1 mark question. Okay, time response analysis, see, not very much not expected topic, but it's an easy topic. In 2018 EE itself, 4 marks for only time response analysis. Okay, this time response analysis includes transient plus steady state error. Steady state error is slightly more important. Okay, now from the root locus stability and root locus part, I mean, including the Routh-Hurwitz also, the RH criteria also. Okay, in both the years, no question in EC and 1 question of 2 marks in EE. Frequency response, okay, which includes the Nyquist plots, the Bode plots, the basic resonance peak and resonance things. So 2018, surprisingly, there is no question in EE, but this is usually an important topic. Okay, design of control system, where you can expect the questions on controllers and compensators. Okay, only 1 question in EC for 2010. Rest, there is no question. And state space analysis, every paper, you can see have the question. Okay, summarizing. Okay, so, frequency response and state space analysis are 2 more important topics in control system that will almost produce question. Okay, whether you talk about recent year trends and whether you talk about the IIT Guwahati year trends. Okay, analog circuits. Okay, I think it's visible. I think this data has not been bolded, but no problem. Now, as far as chapters and topics are concerned for analog circuits, Gautam sir has broken down into, very, very discrete level, at very, very smaller level. Okay, so that is why we have a list of 22 topics in analog circuits that sir has broken into. Okay, but if you look into it, almost every time you're expected to get the question from ideal op-amp, especially negative feedback. Okay, this is important. Okay, amplifier modeling 2018, there was a question in EC. Okay, so 2010 and 2018, no question from comparator, op-amp in positive feedback and active filter part and relaxation oscillators. Okay, from diode circuits, of course. Okay, diode circuits mixed with op-amps. Okay, diodes and op-amps based question. Okay, these are definitely important. Questions have also come up. No questions from direct clipper clampers or rectifiers. Okay, Zener diodes usually important only, but 2010 no question, 2018 EC there was a question. Okay, of course for analog EC weightage will of course be more. You could look into the total marks also. Okay, EC 8 and 11. Okay, 2010, 2018, but for EE it's 5 and 3. Almost, of course, for EE and analog weightage is on lesser side only. Okay. Now, BJT DC analysis has produced the question. Okay, so this also can be taken as, in fact, frequency response, I'll mark it as important. Okay, although there was no question in 2018. Okay, then differential amplifier, no question. Non-ideal op-amp, no question. Feedback amplifier, okay, but feedback amplifier, oscillator, 555 trimer, you should take these seriously, and especially MOSFET also. Although the trend of 2010 and 2018 is surprising with respect to MOSFET, but please focus MOSFET, okay, in analog as well as in the EDC part. Okay, it's important. The MOSFET part is important, and recent trends also. Okay, moving ahead to the next chapter, that is next subject, digital circuits. Okay, no question from the basic number system by base conversion binary codes in both the years. Boolean algebra, logic gates, okay, and minimization also. Of course, minimization has come up here only. Okay, so when I say minimization, I have included K-map. That is why, okay, when you include these many topics, 1 question definitely is expected. In EC, there were 2 questions in 2010. Okay, but basic Boolean algebra, Boolean laws, logic gates, minimizations, and etc. K-map, prime implicants, all those things if I club. So 1 question is definitely expected from here. Okay, combinational logic even. Okay, these are the number of questions that I have mentioned. Okay, but mostly what, even in 2010 and 2018, I'll tell you, most of the questions of combinational logic were from multiplexers. Okay, sequential logic, anyways important. Surprisingly, in 2010 in EC, there was no question, but it has to be, most likely you'll get the question next year, whether your branch is EC or EE. ADC and DAC is important, guys. Okay, 2010 and 18 data it has not come, but you can't discard this. Okay, logic family now is not there in the syllabus, but semiconductor memory for EC. Okay, you should go through the fundamentals of it. It is important. You don't have to anyways go to a very depth of it, but some fundamental study about semiconductor memories you can do. Okay. Now EMF. See, EMF I have first broken into the common topics and then with the EC core topics. Okay, so the common topics, coordinate geometry and vector calculus, one question in 2010 for both EC and EE. Okay, 2008. You see, now even these days, direct questions of coordinate geometry, okay, and vector calculus are coming up now. Usually those questions, are classified in maths also. Okay, so you can classify an EMF for maths, but one question from vector calculus, okay, branch ECEE, both the branches it is expected definitely. Okay, only thing is, whether you classify here or there doesn't matter, maths or EMF. Okay. So electrostats and magnetostats, less questions in these years, but of course, actually in these particular years, the weightage of EMF in EE also itself is low, but recent trend says that EE, of course, EMF weightage is low only, but be prepared for 4 to 5 marks. For EE, if you see, it was 1 and 3 marks only, but be prepared for up to 4 to 5 marks of EMF weightage. And of course, EC, okay, the major questions usually come up from here, the Maxwell's equation or EM waves. Okay, so the EM waves, 2 questions in 2010 and 2 questions in 2018 also. Okay, transmission lines, 3 questions 2010 and 2 questions 2018. Antenna, okay, no questions in both the year, but you can't discard. Okay, even recently, last 2-3 years, they have reduced the number of questions from antenna. Okay, but that also is an alarm that next year maybe you can expect an antenna question. Usually it's an important topic. Okay, antenna. Okay. Waveguides 2018, one question was there. Okay, but yeah, majority of the questions in both the years were from EM waves and transmission lines. Okay, coming to the EDC now core subjects I'll separate out. Then we'll come to the electrical core subjects also. EDC broken into 4 chapters. So basics of semiconductor, 2 questions in 2010, 1 question 2018. PN junction, 6 questions. That is 4 into 2 plus 2, 10 marks. Okay, only from PN junction in 2018. See, that is how at times they can, give, surprises. Okay, 10 marks only from PN junction. Okay, and that particular year, of course, there is no question from BJT, 1 question from MOSFET. High weightage in 2018 for EDC, that is 13 marks. Okay, so look into, be ready for surprises that sometimes one particular topic. Okay, and of course, when you're studying EDC, that PN junction is important at the end. That is a foundation topic you have to be ready with. Okay, so, 10 marks only came up from this particular topic. Communications for EC. Okay, so random noise and random signals and noise, of course, being important. Okay, 1 question 2010, 2 questions in 2018. Analog communication, 2 questions in both the years. Of course, marks were different. Digital communication, okay, 2 questions and 3 questions. And information theory, okay. Yeah, recent years information theory is more important, so I can say that definitely next year also 1 question from information theory can be expected. Okay, so there's a total of 12 marks. No, I see some error, I think here. 1 2 3 4 4, yeah, correct, 12 marks, correct, that's correct only. Okay, so 12 marks in 2018. Usually communication expected for 10 or more, 10 11 12. 2010 it was on lower side by chance. Okay, now coming to the EE core subject. Yeah, this was done. EE core subject, machines. Okay, so from transformers, 1 question only in 2010, 3 questions in 2018. From DC machines, 3 questions. Okay, and 2 questions. Okay, from induction, one in both the years, and from synchronous, 2 questions in 2008 and nothing in 2010. Actually, 2010 machines weightage was on lower side. Usually it is around 10 to 12 marks only. 2018 it was 12 marks with almost the questions from each of the topics. Okay. Then coming to power systems, broken into 3 parts, transmission and distribution. Okay, transmission and distribution alone produced 9 marks in 2010. 2010 power system weightage seems to be very high, that is 17. Okay, only 2 questions in 2008, but that itself is 3 marks. Okay, power system analysis, again, 5 marks in 2018 from power system analysis. Protection usually, is not that important. Okay, but most of the questions in recent years also you can find from these areas, that is transmission and distribution and power system analysis. Okay. Coming to power electronics. Okay, for these 2 years, 2010 and 2018, okay, there has not been a question from DC to AC converter, AC to AC converter and the drives. Okay, but yeah, of course, there are questions from the basics. Okay, AC to DC converter and DC to DC converter. Okay. Right. So this is the majority of the questions were distributed from these topics in power electronics. Measurements, in both the years, talking about Guwahati years only, were from electrical measurements. Okay, none of the question was from electronic measurement like CRO or something. Okay, so anyways, measurement also just mostly getting two questions, 1 mark and 2 marks. These recent trends also. So usually some 3 marks weightage or max to max 4 marks weightage is what you're getting from the measurement. Okay, now this is the complete. Okay, for first for electronics and then I'll go for electrical as well. Okay, the complete subject wise broken weightage, and also I have put recent trends. Okay, also I have put recent trends. Okay. The recent trends as well as Guwahati year trend suggest that communication anyways is important for you. In fact, EC, EC is a branch where almost all subjects are having decent weightage. There is no subject which would have a weightage of like 3 to 4 marks, which is there in EE, but not in the case of ECC. There isn't any subject you will find which is having some 3 to 4 marks of weightage. Correct na? Correct na? Nothing like that. Okay, there is nothing like that. Okay, so almost you have to focus on every subject, because if every subject is producing some 8 marks or 9 marks, sometimes it may be the lower side I see 6 marks. Okay, that is sometimes, but if I expect that every subject coming out to be 8 marks around, okay, so you can't afford to miss it. You can't afford to miss it, because okay, so that is why EC you have to focus almost on all the subjects. Of course, from the slides I have presented previously, you can find that there are some areas from which questions are very minimal. So at least that part you don't miss it, but you practice less. But from the areas where I highlighted and where from more number of questions are coming from those areas, definitely you should practice more and you should have more depth in those topics. That is what the important topics mean for you. Okay, coming to EE, dear, coming to EE. Yeah. Okay, 2010-2018 Guwahati years and the recent trends also included. Okay, now in EE there are few subjects which are always on the lesser weighted side, like measurements. Okay, 4, 3, 3, 3. Recent trends I told you, 3, 3. One question of 1 mark, 1 question of 2 mark. Okay, then digital circuits and see, actually for EE, digital and analog is one combined subject in the syllabus. Okay, but when you study it, these are two different subjects only. Okay, so if I talk about two different subjects, digital always will have lower weightage. Okay, this year also only 1 question of 2 marks was there. Even recent trends, it is 2 to 3 marks. Okay, sometimes only 2 marks, sometimes 3 marks. 1 question of 2 marks, 1 question of 1 mark, like that. Okay, so less weightage it is. Okay, and analog electronics, unpredictable. Sometimes it will be less weightage also, but usually easily you expect 5-6 marks or more from analog. Okay, and so that's what there's some subjects which are very low weightage, like measurements or digital. You can push it at the end. EMF also low weightage only. Okay, not recently. See, now if we go to EMF, okay, 2018 only 1 mark, 2010 1 mark, 2018 3 marks, but recent I told you it's 4 to 5 marks. Okay, sometimes it has gone to 6 marks also. Okay, of course 5 marks also is not that high, but EMF, the foundation of EMF you should study. It is required for your machines and motors study also. Okay, so that is why EMF you take it seriously, and the questions are also coming 5 marks also, scoring questions only. Okay, but these subjects like digital and measurements, you can push it at the end. Don't discard that also, but push it at the end. Okay, so that at least as early as possible you cover up the important subjects. Okay, and you have to target more electrical students. You have to target more and more on the core. Okay, of course, common subjects are important. See, signals weightage, recent both the years is 11 marks. Okay, and 2010 it was 13 marks. Okay, so the foundation network is a very foundation subject for electrical engineering. Control system also is important. Okay, around 8 to 10 marks you expect from control system also. Recent 2 years it is 9 marks. Okay, so you have to start from fundamental subjects. I suggest to start from fundamental subjects like network, control, signal. Get a command there. Okay, but do it quickly so that you spend more time around core. Okay, of course, because core will produce more variety of questions, more conceptual and depth questions. So you have to spend more time there, electrical students. Okay, so start with the fundamentals, but then after doing that quickly. Okay, circuits, signal and systems, and network. This one, control system. These 3 fundamentals you start. Okay, and then definitely you have to focus more and more on the core part. Okay, I have not talked in this video. I have not spoken about the detailed distribution of maths and aptitude. That we can do it later. I meant here to make this video for technical subjects, how the distribution of topics and chapters have been there from the technical subject. Okay, so now dear, if I have to summarize the key points, okay, look into some important key points that you have to take target. Okay, key points for what? Key points for your upcoming GATE 2026 examination. Okay, number one. Okay, see, I'll tell you my honest reason for making this video, because you know, students keep on thinking IIT Guwahati is going to conduct how the paper was there in last year. See, it does not have a much correlation. You see, you go through the video once again. There were some topics in 2010 not at all asked in 2018, like Laplace transform. I shown you, high weightage in 2010, zero in 2018. Similarly, there are some topics not at all asked in 2010 but suddenly came up in 2018. So if you only rely on this data, okay, you will be in a trap only. Okay, what you have to rely? You have to rely on your hard work. Okay, so you know, of course this video is important so that you get you know, important topics. But if from some topic you say that there was no question in 2010 and 18, it does not mean that you have to discard it. Honestly, I'm telling you, the intention of this video is not to tell you that you have to leave this topic. Yeah, you can spend less time there, but don't discard any particular topic. Okay, don't discard any particular topic. Okay, so you know, the first target is you know, as per the recent papers also, I'm telling you, they are not going very, very high paper like 90 plus or something for EE also, for EC also. So conceptual understanding is mattering. The student who is conceptually strong, okay, is able to crack the exam and get good marks. Okay, if you just do the formula level study or you know, basic just quick revision of notes will not help. You have to go to the depth of the topic and solve variety of questions. Okay, so question practice is going to be key along with the PYQs. Okay, so PYQs is must. Okay, but you know, to be in the top zone, I don't say only PYQs. Solve some additional questions. So additional questions, okay, like you know, at home you get the handouts. Target that handout questions. Okay, or you know, whatever handouts or workbook you have from anywhere, target that you have to target. Additional question practice. Okay, and when I say question practice, and I've told you, be ready for surprises. Some topics will really produce some good questions. Okay, so you have to prepare all varieties of questions, easy to moderate to difficult. Okay, so you know, like 2018 EE, okay, topper marks 94. 2023, if I take you towards 2023, toppers marks is around 66 or 65, something like that. Wide difference. I'll say huge difference. Okay, so you cannot say that paper is going to be very easy or moderate. It may be very difficult also. Although, you know, GATE paper being very difficult is very occasional. Okay, very rarely you will find GATE paper being very difficult. Okay, so for EE, okay, this is what I've spoken about EE. If I talk about EC, 2010, the topper was around 66 marks. 2012. Okay, the IIT Delhi paper. Okay, but yeah, again, topper even not touching 70 is a very rare event in GATE. Okay, so mostly you expect moderate paper, moderate to, you know, tough paper. Okay, that's what. Okay, but very, very tough paper is a very uncommon activity, I would say, in GATE. Okay, but still be ready for anything. So that is why practice all variety of question, easy, moderate and difficult. And by all variety, I also mean that focus on MSQ also. Okay. Okay, focus your preparation with MSQ question. Okay, like whatever classes I am taking, I am also in the classes, you know, I'm guiding the students, and within the running subject itself, I'm making the students practice MSQ questions. So that you have to target MSQ questions. You have to practice simultaneously with your question. Now, the key to success is, okay, I have given you this list of important areas. I mean, you can identify the important areas. The less important areas are not to be missed. I'm telling you, be ready for surprises. Study them, but focus less. But whatever are the important topics, suppose, you know, let's say out of the whole syllabus, you have identified 70% important syllabus, and that 70% important syllabus usually will produce 90% questions. Okay, so your idea, your target should be, okay, you know, targeting more here. Okay, so what is important? Highlight, target, and then, okay, focus more there. Remaining 30% don't miss, but don't do a lot of practice there. Okay, study it conceptually, do some PYQs. Okay, enough. Some 5-10 years PYQ, enough. But for the important areas, some 15-20 years PYQ, some additional handout question. Okay, that you have to spend for what I say, important topics. For less important topics, some 5-10 ES PYQs enough. Maybe not extra handout also. Okay, fine. Okay, but don't miss it totally. Okay, don't miss it totally. Okay, so in exams, be ready, there will be some lengthy question every year. Okay, there will be some questions which are very lengthy. It can be from any subject, core subject or common subject also. Okay, so smartly you have to deal with lengthy questions, because if you feel that the question is solvable by you but it is going to take time, okay, please attempt at the end. Because sometimes what students are doing, they are taking the questions on their ego and they are spending minutes and minutes, like 15-20 questions, 15-20 minutes wasted only on one question. Now imagine in the 15-20 questions you can solve maybe around 5-6 more questions, yeah, even more. Okay, at the end, if the time is not left, suppose you know some 5 to 10 questions confidently, but time is not left, timer will run, time gets over, you lose marks, and maybe after 15-20 minutes you do not able to solve that question also, or maybe because it's a lengthy question, in somewhere you did some calculation error, the whole process went wrong. So lengthy questions you have to deal smartly. Okay, if you feel that question is going to be lengthy but you know it, do it at the end. Don't take any question or any topic on your ego that this is my favorite and I have to do it only. That is the biggest mistake and blunder done by the students. Okay, so be ready, you don't have to do it. Yes, you can do it at the end, but try all the other questions which can be solved in minimal amount of time. Of course, GATE, you don't get very factual question also. Few questions will be factual, you can tick mark, but most of the questions, at least some basic efforts you have to do. But okay, the question may be solvable in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, okay na? Okay, even up to 4-5 minutes, some questions are solvable, do it. But if some question is going extreme lengthy, if you feel that this is going to be lengthy only, please stop it and do it at the end. That precaution you have to take care. That precaution you have to take care. Right? Okay, now guys, to give you a more clear idea how the questions was. Today, I have spoken only on the weightage and the chapter wise distribution. Okay, now you can join live on the YouTube. Okay, to discuss IIT Guwahati previous year questions. Okay, the questions and solutions. Okay, so this new session is going to start from 7th July Monday. These new sessions are going to start from 7th July Monday. Okay, where subject by subject, okay, we'll target IIT Guwahati years. Okay, these 2 years, 2010 and 2018 previous year question. Okay, so that you see what was the type of question, and moreover, I'm telling you now, okay, the data of 2010 or 18 may not exactly correlate what is going to happen in 2026, but at least taking up 2 years PYQs and joining live, at least you solve some questions and you do some practice. Okay, so taking this as a random practice session, you can join live on the YouTube on the same channel where you're watching this video. So if you're not subscribed, do subscribe our channel so that you do not miss any of the important sessions coming up for you. Okay, some more information for you. The new offline batch, okay, for GATE 2026 EC is going to start on July 11th. On July 11th, the fee is currently priced at 54,999. So you can take the benefit of it, and of course there are some special discounts for these college going students, for these students as well. Okay guys, for GATE 26 and GATE 27, online live course is available. Okay, so if you cannot join the offline course, you cannot travel to Hyderabad for some reason and want to study still by the India's best ECEE faculty team, okay, you can enroll to the live course, where again it's a interactive session only. You can immediately ask your doubts because it's a live chat box that is offered to you, so you'll get the feel of little bit feel of that offline. Okay, so for GATE 26 the fee is 1999, 1 year validity. For GATE 27 the fee is 28,999 with 2 years validity, of course. Okay, so for online live course guys, there is a big announcement that on July 20th, okay, we are conducting a OHM online scholarship test. Yes, a OHM online scholarship test. The syllabus for EC and EEE, but both the respective branches is mentioned. Fundamental subject like aptitude, mathematics. Okay, in EC we call it as networks, in EE we call it as electric circuits. So these are fundamental subjects only. One core area from EE DC machines, not even the entire machine, only DC machine, and from EC EDC. Okay, right. So based on your performance, like if you are in the top 3, you get 100% scholarship. Yes, the entire 100% scholarship on the online live course. Okay, so this is for online courses, this scholarship test. Okay, if you get the rank 4 to 10, you get 60% scholarship, and based on your performance, the discounts have been clearly mentioned. Okay, so you can immediately register for the scholarship test by just scanning this QR code. Okay, or we'll also attach the description, or we also attach the registration form for this in the description. Okay, for any queries you can contact 95156 94053 and get all your doubts rectified. Okay dear, Okay, if you are planning to also prepare for the AE examinations, okay, the AE, the AP Transco Discoms and Telangana Transco Discoms new offline batch starts 15th July. Okay, new offline batch starts 15th July. Okay, so that's it for this video from my side. Hope you have got some, complete database analysis of the IIT Guwahati years and how to interpret the data and what you can predict for GATE 26. I've clearly explained to you. Okay, thank you for joining this video. And in case you have any more doubts, you can, mention in the comment box of the video. We'll reply it. And otherwise, you can also be connected with me in my Telegram group. Okay, with the name mentioned here. Okay, thank you. This is Rakesh Talreja signing off. Bye bye. Take care and all the best for your preparation.